There's this strange loop hidden inside the food system that almost nobody's talking about, which is weird because if it's real, it could mean feeding the world more food with significantly fewer resources. I'm not talking about some sort of food 3D printer or a device that can rain food from the sky, but a pretty practical system that involves beer, baked goods, and pee. Yeah, human urine. See, most people look at beer and just see beer. What they don't realize is that beer leaves behind a mountain of spent grain that can make crackers, brownies, bread, and more. And after drinking that beer and eating our bonus snacks, the nutrients that we pee out could help grow the next round of grain to make even more beer. So instead of just getting a drink, you could be getting a drink, a snack, and even more in the future. But because the individual pieces of this system feel very disjointed, I traveled around the Twin Cities this month to find out if the infinite food glitch could actually work on a large scale. The first stop on our journey is Bang Brewing in St. Paul, Minnesota, to chat with Sandy Boss Febbo about how much potential beer has to create more food.
Each one of our batches will range from 400 to 1,000 pounds of dry weight malt. It's a fair amount of grain, and we're a small producer. So if you look at larger facilities, it really adds up.
In fact, brewers in the US alone generate 4.7 million metric tons of spent grain every single year.
There's still a lot of nutritional value remaining in that grain. You know, we take what we need, but there's still something left. Every batch of beer that we've produced, our spent grain has gone on to another purpose. So it's never hit landfill. That was a commitment we made from day one. And we've had multiple partners through the years, different farmers for direct compost, others that put it through a kill step and then use it for animal feed.
The good news is that many breweries are actually already doing this in the US. In fact, roughly 90% of brewer spent grain is donated to farmers. But there's an alternative route that brewers can take to donate their spent grain, one that actually turns it back into food that we can eat. To learn more about the machine that can make spent grain nearly brand new again, I met with Sue Marshall, the founder and CEO of NETZRO. As a company that specializes in reharvesting spent grain through upcycling technology, they are a key player in making step number one of the infinite food glitch possible.
So how does it work to put food in the machine then? Does it break it down into the flour when you put spent grain
This is great, right? Because people will see and go, oh, flour comes out. Making flour is a totally different step.
Okay.
So whatever goes into the equipment is wet. What comes out is dry. But it doesn't do anything other than stabilize it because it literally combusts the water out.
Huh.
The only thing that's taken out in the whole process is sugars because the whiskey or the beer is the sugar what they take out. And the flavors, depending on what the grain is. But at the end of the day, what's left is protein and fiber. And the grain, but it still looks just like grain. So you couldn't put it in a bakery item. So the next step would be milling. Just like any other grain, it would be milled.
And the potential for reharvesting grains with NETZRO is huge because beer isn't the only industry that produces a wild amount of spent grain.
95% of all the whiskey in the US is manufactured in Kentucky. It's 90 billion pounds a year of spent grain.
90 billion?
90 billion pounds.
How much of that spent grain is able to be rescued?
All of it, if it was up to me.
Okay, so we found a way to create new food products from spent grains, making step number one of the infinite food glitch complete. But after Sue's spent grain gets milled into flour, I want to know, does it actually taste good? To find out what this new product tastes like for myself, I met up with Shelley Santrach in Columbia Heights, Minnesota to see how she uses this flour at the Central Mix and the Fixx Cafe.
I call it the better than theory, okay?
What's that?
If you make something with regular flour, and it tastes good, if you're gonna make it with an upcycle product, it has to be better than. Because otherwise, you're just not getting there.
Well, should we
eat something?
Okay, so this is with
Upcycled rye from Templeton Rye in Iowa.
I love this. It still has the same texture as brownie, which I think I was a little hesitant about, but you're right. A lot of brownies punch you in the face
was sweet.
because it's like, oh man, like, I mean, I love a Ghirardelli brownie, but
Yeah.
it's like I can only have 2 or 3 bites before it's overwhelming. But
Yeah.
like this is dangerous.
There's a little bitter tone in the back, and that's the rye that's coming through. And it still has the sweetness of a brownie, but it's not the overwhelming sweetness because of the bitter tone of the rye balances it out.
And not only did the desserts taste amazing, but they also had better ingredients too.
A lot of times the brewers and distillers are using these super high quality grains that you would never put in a cracker. You're getting a second life out of something that was better to start with.
But baking is a science, so bakers have to be extra creative when using spent grain flour in their recipes.
It isn't just like a one-for-one substitute. You do have to play with the taste. You have to play with the dryness.
At this point, we've turned brewery waste back into food, making step number 2 a success. But that actually only solves the back half of the loop. If this is really a food system glitch, we need to get nutrients back into the soil. And surprisingly, one of the best places to find those nutrients is in what leaves our bodies every day.
Each human urinates the amount of nitrogen that it takes to grow a loaf of bread's worth of wheat every day. So like from what you're peeing out, you could produce enough wheat to grow a loaf of bread.
That was Will Brinkerhoff, a researcher at the University of Michigan who studies how urine could replace chemical fertilizers. And I'm chatting with him today to figure out if step number 3 of the infinite food glitch is possible. I want to know, if we drink beer and then we pee after drinking the beer, can we then take that pee, put it on grains to grow more beer and make the beer better?
A big problem that we see in our current farming system is that farmers are buying fertilizers, chemical fertilizers, that are really vulnerable to loss in the environment. That means that farmers typically over-apply these fertilizers to their fields in hopes of getting a really high yield and getting a return on their investment in their crop. And the downside of that over-fertilization is that as much as about half or more can run off from what the farmer initially applies, and that has a lot of downstream consequences on waterways and environmental health. So what we found is pretty straightforward, that across the board, the urine fertilizer acts very similarly to the synthetic fertilizer and to compost.
Would it be a good idea for a brewery to collect the waste and send it to someone for fertilizer?
Yeah, for sure. You know, when you're gathering a bunch of people into one location, and you could incorporate a source separating toilet and you could be using their waste for good. It's just an obvious solution.
So we've proven that the concept of the infinite food glitch works. Now we just have to see if Sandy would be on board.
I was wondering if you had the opportunity to have a toilet on site that filtered out the pee that could go and be nitrogen for the grain you use, would you do it?
I mean, if I hadn't just developed this building and put 3 new bathrooms in the back, I may consider it. They are low flow water, so we achieved that aspect of it. It's those novel ideas that people need to give space to try. And I think something like that, if it's a thing and it can be part of the system, why wouldn't you try?
Now, because we still need to obey the laws of thermodynamics, the infinite food glitch is not so much about creating infinite foods out of thin air, but finding food and fertilizer hiding inside of the things that we usually call waste. If a small brewery, a grain reharvesting company, a neighborhood bakery, and pea scientists can all start closing the loop, then maybe the infinite food glitch is not about making endless food. Maybe it's about finally stopping the endless waste.
Sustainability interventions require that we do something different and we make a change in our daily lives. And yes, it will be more inconvenient sometimes, but to know that you are part of the solution and that you are contributing to, a positive future for your community is super important.
It has to be everyone at the table.
Are you going to be an early adopter, or are you going to be following the trend?
We can do it at our scale because we don't have the economy of scale like anyone can.
So the next time you drink a beer, eat a brownie, or, pee, just remember, the future of food might already be what's on your plate or in your cup.